My dad was gone. It was me, my mom, and my sisters. And that year, the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, I became very rebellious. The house my mom got was in a rough neighborhood, gangs, drugs, guns, you name it. And I fell right into it, bro. I became rebellious. I stopped going to church. I stopped listening to my mom. Every mistake you could make, I fell into, and my life hit a downhill spiral. By the time I was 18, I was in the county jail on my way to prison with a girl pregnant. So I did a few years. I got out. I said, I'm never going back to Peoria. I moved to Galesburg, which is where the lady was that I had my child by. I went to school when I was gone. So when I got out, within a couple of weeks, I had a job. And within a couple of weeks, we got married. We were living together. I was on a better track. But even when I was gone, I wasn't seeking the Lord as I should have been.
Yeah.
So I was on a better track, but it wasn't a track that I should have been on. Okay. And so one of my main vices was drinking. I smoked a lot, but drinking was my main vice. And I worked hard, so I tried to justify it. And I said, I should be able to play hard, right? Eventually, I got a promotion, moved from Galesburg, Illinois, down to the Kansas City area in 2004. I was down there from 2004 to 2018. In 2009 is when my wife had had enough of my drinking, and we went our separate ways. You could have never convinced me that I would stop drinking. Yeah. I was convinced that I would die with an alcoholic beverage in my hand. And because I was getting promotions at work and things of that nature, I didn't think I had a problem, and I had too much pride to get any help. Okay. In 2015, I was living in Overland Park, Kansas, and I woke up one day and I had an emptiness in me. I literally felt a void inside of me. I have no other way to describe it. It was a feeling I never felt before. I had no idea what it was. And all these years, I'm away from the Lord. Okay. I wasn't going to church. I wasn't praying. I was just totally in the world. Okay. It wasn't, I was raised, yes, there was God, but I also knew the life I was living was not a godly life for sure. And so I never prayed. I didn't think he'd hear me. If I really, really, really thought I needed something, I'd call my mom and I'd ask her to pray for me. Okay. But this one day in 2015, I woke up, and then this morning I just sat down in my kitchen and I started confessing all of the sins I could think of, bro. And I was really putting thought into it. Like the list was long. Okay. And I started praying. I was just saying prayers that I knew from when I was a kid. But then the same night, I'm doing everything all over again. I'm drinking, I'm getting high, I'm doing whatever. Okay. And so the next day I wake up and now I'm confessing all my sins from the night before, and I'm praying. But then the same night, I'm doing everything all over again. That cycle went on for like another year and a half. Every single day I would get up and I would confess everything from the night before, and I would pray, but nothing was changing. Okay. So in 2017, one day I'm walking around this park one morning, and typically when I'd wake up and I'd pray, I would say, Lord, thank you for waking me up today. Right. I'm walking around this park and I'm getting ready to pray. And when I went to say thank you, nothing came out of my mouth. It was like just nothing. And I remember like yesterday, I stopped dead in my tracks, bro. And I look up at the sky and I said, Lord, please forgive me. Because if I tell you thank you for waking me up today, I'm actually lying, because I'm not thankful for it. I said, so please forgive me for that. I said, as a matter of fact, I hate my life. I hate everything about it. I said, as a matter of fact, I don't even want to be here. And I just went on this list of everything I hate about my life. Okay. Yeah. And so about a week or so later, I'm flipping through some TV channels and I see this pastor on TV, and I caught like the last 15 minutes of him. Every single thing he's preaching, it's like he knew my life story to a T, talking right at me, bro. Okay. And so I'm like, wow, I like something's going on, but I don't know what. Okay. So the next week I was like, all right, I'll try to catch him. I almost forgot. I caught the last 15 minutes again. But again, every single thing he's preaching, it's like he knew my life story just from that week. Yeah. Okay. And so I said, all right, I'm going to start watching this. And so now I'm still praying. I'm still confessing. I'm watching this guy, but I'm still in sin, right? I found a Bible in my room one day, which I never knew I had. In the back of it, it said to me from a girl named Claudia. She gave it to me in 2015. This is like 2 years later. Till this day, I do not remember when Claudia gave me this Bible. I know a girl named Claudia, but I don't remember when she handed this Bible to me. I do not physically remember receiving this Bible, okay? Yeah. And so But I start reading it every now. I'm starting to open it up a little bit, okay? And as I am, of course, I never read it because I never understood it, and I wasn't trying to seek anything, okay? But I start reading it one day, and whatever I'm reading, like the Lord is actually giving me understanding. Like I'm understanding what I'm reading at this moment, okay? One day, it was a Wednesday or Thursday afternoon. I went over to a buddy of mine's house. We're down in his basement. We're drinking, we're smoking, and he gets ready to tell me this joke. And as he's telling me this joke, a vision drops down right in front of me. And it's these police officers standing in the hallway of my apartment complex. Now, I've never had something like that happen to me before, okay? But it was clear as day. I go back to my apartment that night. I'm in my living room drinking and smoking, and I hear voices out in the hallway, which was normal because my neighbor has traffic in and out a lot, okay? But I keep hearing people talking. So I get up and I go out and I look through my peephole, and I see his door open, and I see the back of somebody standing there. And all of a sudden, that person turns around, and it's a female police officer. And about 3 or 4 more come walking out and are standing in my hallway, just like I saw a couple hours ago in this vision. And the first thing that flashes through my mind was something that this pastor said on that Sunday right before. I don't remember many of the things he said, but I remember this. He said, sometimes God may not change everything in your life at once, but he may put a circumstance in your life that makes you change something. The next thing that flashes through my mind is, what if they would have been coming up to check on this guy and they would have smelled weed coming out of my apartment? Like, I would have been in trouble at that time. It wasn't legal, okay? Literally, as soon as they left, bro, I just went and got all the rest of my weed and I flushed it down the toilet. Just like that. Done with it, okay? I woke up like the next day and I did no longer had a desire for weed or beer. It was just totally miraculously taken away. Like I never did it. Never, and you could have never told me I'd stop drinking beer, bro, okay? Within that day or two, I was reading through my Bible, and in the very front of it, before you actually get into the scriptures, there was a page, and on that page, there was about a 2 or 3 paragraph section, and it was called The Love Story. And it's simply just a short version of the gospel of Jesus Christ and his salvation, okay? And so I'm reading this, right? And underneath it, there's a prayer that you can pray to receive salvation. Now, keep in mind, I don't know anything about this stuff. I don't know anything about being born again or being baptized with the Holy Spirit. And that is all foreign to me. I've never even heard of that stuff at this point in my life. I wasn't taught that in the Catholic Church. Yeah. Okay. So I know nothing about any of that. Yeah. Okay. All I know is I'm reading this page and I'm going to say I'm reading the prayer. I'm not going to say I was technically praying I was praying the prayer, but in my mind, I'm just reading it because I don't even know what I'm praying and reading about at this point. Right. Yeah. But I remember reading these paragraphs and I'm reading this prayer, and all of a sudden, bro, it's like a light bulb goes off. And I remember standing up in my living room with my Bible in my hand, looking up in the sky saying, yes, yes, this is it. This is what I want. Like, this is it right here. And I don't even know what I'm asking for. Okay. I just know this is it. Okay. And so like a day or two later, bro, I wake up. And all of a sudden, I mean, it's like Jesus had reached down and picked me up like a bottle of water and just dumped everything out of me. I'm talking, because I remember it was like, I realized I wasn't cussing anymore. Like I used to cuss like a racehorse. But then all of a sudden I realized drinking, smoking, cussing, lusting, anger, worry, fear, anxiety, masturbation, suicidal thoughts, all of it, bro, is totally miraculously gone. And I was filled with this joy and this peace that was beyond anything I ever knew existed. And all I knew is I didn't want to lose it. Okay. And all of a sudden, he just gave me this divine hunger for his word. All I wanted to do was read his word, bro. And this is when I finally, remember when I said at the beginning, I was taught about God, I was taught about Jesus, but I didn't understand it. Now I understood. He made it clear that this was the work that he did on the cross when he talks about saving us from our sin, washing away our sin, all of the stuff I had been entrapped to all these years, bro. He miraculously washed all of it away. And by his grace, till this day, he has kept me not only from it, but kept even the desires from me, bro. Like, it's not when I look at a beer can, I look at it and I'm like, man, I got to get away from there. I'm going to drink. When I see a beer can, I want to crush it. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's when I understood him washing away my sins. And then through his resurrection, now giving me new life. Everything looked different to me now, bro. I remember looking at my closet saying, why do I have all these clothes? I went into my apartment. I'm like, I can't even listen to the music I used to listen to. I couldn't watch the things on TV I used to watch. The things I used to think about, I couldn't think about anymore. I didn't think about things I never thought about. Now I was starting to think about things I used to talk about. I'm no longer talking about things I never used to talk about. Now I'm talking about. When Paul said all things become new and all things are of God, bro, that's what I experienced, bro.